everyone. I welcome you all to today's hit series session, that is high impact topic series session. In this session, I'm going to talk to you about Prime Ministerial Address in the National Labour Conference of Labour Ministers of all states and union territories. So we shall be covering this particular topic in the following sequence. Why it is in news, Prime Minister's speech highlights concepts to discuss from amongst the terminologies that Prime Minister has used in his speech, which can be important from our UPSC CSE perspective, followed by the prelims and means practice questions for you all. But before I begin with my discussion, I want you all to know about the Polity and Ethics Foundation course that began yesterday, and you can take admissions in the same. You are going to be taught by Nitin Shivhare sir, who is the founder and director of Analyst IAS. He is ex-faculty from well-known institutions with regards to the UPSC CSE preparation, and even public administration batch is going to begin on 25th of September, and again it is going to be taken by Nitin Shivhare sir himself. You can call on the given numbers and reach out to us to inquire further about the admissions and the course queries. Even you can visit us in our office in the old Rajinder Nagar market. So let's begin with our discussion. Why it is in news? So the 2-day conference is being convened, organized in the Andhra Pradesh, Tirupati by Union Labour and Employment Ministry at the Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh since yesterday. So conference began yesterday, and that's why we are considering the speech. The speech was given yesterday by the Prime Minister. So the conference is being convened in the spirit of cooperative federalism to discuss various significant labor-related issues. It will help create further synergy amongst the centre and the state governments in formulating better policies with regards to labour and ensures effective implementation of the scheme, since states and centre are working in coordination, right? There is a synergy, and thus welfare of workers can be better ensured. The conference will have 4 thematic sessions. These include integrating e-Shram portal for onboarding social security schemes to universalize social protection, and Swasthya Se Samriddhi for improving medical care through ESI hospitals. Framing of rules under 4 labour codes, as well as vision of Shramev Jayate, not from Satyamev Jayate, it is inspired Shramev Jayate at 2047, and these are the other 2 themes. So with this regard, let's see what Prime Minister said while addressing this particular conference. So government has taken the initiative to abolish laws from period of slavery that reflect the slavery mentality. 29 labor laws have been converted into 4 simple labor codes. So these words that I have highlighted with a different color, we are going to discuss these words in the further session. This session itself in the upcoming slides basically. So why am I highlighting these words? See, look at the sequence. Concepts to discuss. I am going to take out certain important concepts to discuss from the Prime Ministerial speech, which can be important from our UPSC CSE perspective. So one of them is labor code that we are going to pick up. Then India's labor force has a huge role to play in realizing India's dream and aspirations to build a developed nation in the Amrit Kal. And with this thinking, the country is working continuously for crores of workers from organized and unorganized sector. E-Shram portal, next topic is going to be that we are going to discuss little bit more in detail in this particular session, is going to be E-Shram portal, and it is one of the key initiatives to bring labor force into ambit of social security, Prime Minister said. It is in just 1 year, about 28 crore workers from 400 areas have been registered on this E-Shram portal. Prime Minister reiterated the various efforts by the government for these workers, for the welfare of these workers, like Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. that have given a kind of security cover to these workers. Thereafter, there is the Emergency Credit Guarantee Scheme. According to a study, saved 1.5 crore jobs during the pandemic. The future needs flexible workplaces, a work from home ecosystem, and flexible work hours. Prime Minister emphasized on these factors. And he also said that by making the right use of women power, India can achieve its goal of becoming a developed nation faster, or a 5 trillion ton economy faster. So 5 trillion economy faster. So remarking on the demographic dividend is also something I'm going to take up in quick discussion of India. The Prime Minister said that India's success in 21st century will be depending on how well the demographic dividend is used. And India has this demographic dividend window till 2047. So India is signing migration and mobility partnership agreements with many countries because Indians can go abroad and work over there, right? We can't absorb all the employable youth right within our country. We need to make sure, however, that our skill and labor force is utilized well, right? Our country in the form of remittances can also be benefited a lot. So that's why India is signing migration and mobility partnership agreement with many countries of the world and has urged all the states of the country to take advantages of these opportunities, right? So first one, cooperative federalism. So cooperative federalism is the concept which reflects the relationship between center and the state, where they both come together and resolve common problems with each other's cooperation. That is cooperative federalism. Now some examples, because it will be easier for you to grab the concept with the help of examples. So GST Council. Passing of GST is a shining example of cooperative federalism, where states and center have ceded their power to tax and come up with a single taxation system to realize the dream of one economic India with one nation and one market. So GST Council has membership coming in from both center and state. Niti Aayog is the next example. It has replaced what? Erstwhile Planning Commission. Now Niti Aayog is promoting bottom-up approach rather than trickle-down approach followed by the Planning Commission to plan the development of the country. And again, in Niti Aayog, the membership comes in from all the states as well as the center. Thereafter, the Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas slogan involves states as equal partners of development. There is a move towards competitive and cooperative federalism under this vision of Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. In fact, Niti Aayog is releasing various indices wherein it ranks states, districts, and so on. Now that becomes a part of competitive federalism, right? But you can always learn from each other's best practices and thereafter it becomes cooperative federalism. So that's how it is. Labor codes. These are the next point of discussion from Prime Ministerial speech for us. So labor codes include 4 versions. There are 4 labor codes. Now what all are these 4 versions? I'm not going to go into the details of the versions themselves, but let's know the 4 versions, 4 labor codes, right? So first one is Code of Wages Act 2019. Then second one is Industrial Relation Code Bill 2020. Thereafter, there is Social Security Code Bill 2020, and then comes in the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code Bill 2020. Maybe in some other upcoming sessions, I shall be taking up these in detail, but for now, I am going to keep it precise, very brief, because I'm going to take into consideration various aspects that PM has mentioned about, right? So there is e-Shram portal next in my list for your discussion. So register e-Shram portal is supposed to register unorganized workers such as construction laborers, migrant workforces, street vendors and domestic workers among others. The workers will be issued an e-Shram card containing 12-digit unique number. If a worker is registered on the e-Shram portal, and meets with an accident, he will be eligible for 2 lakh on death or permanent disability and 1 lakh on partial disability. So it's an insurance available for them. Then Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana is the next point of discussion for us. So PMSYM or Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana is a central sector scheme. Now, what is a central sector scheme? See, I in fact have discussed the segregation of scheme in this manner with you in another session as well previously. But here's a basic understanding. There are two categories with regards to the government schemes. First one is central sector scheme. Then there is centrally sponsored scheme. Under central sector scheme, like this one, 100% funding is from the center, right? So all the spending, all the expenses are dealt by the center. While in the centrally sponsored scheme, there is devolution between center and state. So they split the expenses. And in that case, splitting could vary. For example, again for UTs which are directly being governed by the center will be taking care of the 100% of expenses. Those UTs which have their own government like Pondicherry, Puducherry, Delhi, their governments will devolve some of the share with center. Then for states otherwise, there is different devolution. It could be 25-75 or 50-50 for various schemes. These two kinds are common. Then for hilly regions, for states of hilly areas and northeastern states, hilly area states like Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, for these states and the northeastern states, 90:10 is the general devolution under the centrally sponsored scheme. Now, let's get back to the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana itself. So PMSYM is a central sector scheme. So 100% funding is from the center itself. It is administered by Ministry of Labour and Employment and implemented through Life Insurance Corporation of India and community service centers, Seva Kendras, that you would find in your vicinity somewhere near you. In every ward, there is one Seva Kendra at least. So community service centers. LIC will be pension fund manager and responsible for pension payout under the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana. Now, who all are eligible for taking the benefits of this scheme? The unorganized sector workers, home-based workers, street vendors, midday meal workers, head loaders, landless laborers, and similar other occupations whose monthly income is rupees 15,000 per month or even lesser than that. Right? That's first eligibility criteria. Then the subscriber should belong to the entry age group of 18 to 40 years. So can a 45-year-old man enter into the scheme? No, he cannot enroll for the benefits of this scheme. The subscriber will be required to have a mobile phone, savings bank account and Aadhaar number. They should not be covered under new pension scheme, NPS, Employees State Insurance Corporation scheme or Employees Provident Fund, EPFO. And generally, unorganized sector workers are not covered in either of them, right? And he or she should not be paying income tax. Now, if you are earning 15,000 or lesser than that per month, you will not be paying income tax. Fine. So, next scheme for our discussion is Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. Now, this scheme is a 1-year accidental insurance scheme and it is renewable from year to year. It offers coverage for death or disability due to accident. The eligibility is that individual in the age group of 18 to 70 years here, please focus. Earlier scheme was up to 40 years only, having savings bank account or a post office account are entitled to enroll under this particular scheme. The benefits are that accidental death cum disability cover will be there. The cover is similar. For accidental death or complete disability, the cover is 2 lakh. For partial disability, it's 1 lakh, right? So this is the cover. Next one is Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. It is 1-year life insurance scheme renewable from year to year, offering coverage of death due to any reason. So eligibility is for individuals in the age group of 18 to 50 years having a savings bank or post office account. Now please focus the differentiation of age once again over here. And they are entitled to enroll under this particular scheme up till the age of 50. The benefits are life cover of rupees 2 lakh in case of death due to any reason. This is particularly for death. This is Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. So if there is a death, then the life cover of rupees 2 lakh in this case is given, and there is annual premium. Per annum means annually you have to pay rupees 330 as a premium for this Bima Yojana insurance scheme, life insurance scheme. It is Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. Now, the next scheme for our discussion is Emergency Credit Guarantee Scheme, which performed really well during the COVID period. So the scheme was launched as part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan package, which was announced in May 2020 to mitigate the distress caused by coronavirus-induced lockdown by providing credit to different sectors, especially micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. So under this scheme, MSMEs can avail credit. The objective is to provide fully guaranteed and collateral-free additional credit to MSMEs, business enterprises, mudra borrowers and individual loan for business purposes to an extent of 20% of their credit outstanding on 29th of February 2020. So those who have already taken some loan up to the 20% of their total credit outstanding, they can borrow more, right? Till when the credit outstanding? 29th February 2020, whatsoever their credit outstanding was, 20% of that they can borrow. So 100% guarantee of coverage is being provided by the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company, whereas banks and NBFCs, non-banking financial companies, are going to provide loan. So guarantor is whom? A government entity is your guarantor. National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company is your guarantor for this particular borrowing. The eligibility is that borrowers with credit outstanding up to 50 crore on 29th February 2020 with an annual turnover of up to 250 crore are eligible under this scheme. Now tenure of loan is going to be for 4 years. So this loans period is 4 years, including moratorium period of 1 year on principal repayment. So you do not have to pay the principal amount back. See, focus on the principal amount. So you still pay the interest amount. So there is 1 year moratorium period for paying back the principal amount. The interest rates under the scheme are capped at 9.25%. So these banks and NBFCs cannot lend you on interest rate more than that. It has been capped. It's either exactly this or less than this for banks and financial institutions, and 14% for NBFCs. Now, last but not the least, and I'm going to discuss about this as well in very brief, because in a previous session I have already discussed in detail, bit more detail about demographic dividend, and I shall be linking that video either towards the end screen or in the iCard for you. So let's talk about demographic dividend. According to the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, there is a definition given that demographic dividend means the economic growth potential that can result from shifts in the population's age structure. So if you have more of working age population, means you have more of assets rather than dependent age population, that is liabilities on the working citizens, that is your demographic dividend period. Mainly when the share of working age population 15 to 64 is larger than the working age population of the population that is either below 15 or more than 64. If this is larger than the later one, then it is called that you are enjoying demographic dividend. I have already mentioned in the very beginning of this session that India is going to enjoy this demographic dividend till 2047. So we have a small window remaining, but it is, yes, a short window, and then we have to make sure that we make the most of our demographic dividend, right? Now, towards the conclusion of this session, I'm going to take you through the prelims practice question. So with reference to Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, consider the following statements. Number 1, it covers both natural and accidental death risk of rupees 2 lakh. Number 2, the premium will be 330 per year. Number 3, person in the age group of 18 to 60 years can apply for this scheme. Now we have discussed all 3 of these statements or around them. I have discussed the exact correct version as well. So you have to pick the correct combination from the options given below. A, 1 only, B, 1 and 2 only, C, 1, 2 and 3, and D, 2 and 3 only. Answer should be put in the comment box, and I shall be discussing the correct answer for this particular question tomorrow in tomorrow's session. So main practice question for today is, India is on the right side of the demographic transition that provides a golden opportunity for its rapid socio-economic development. If policymakers align the developmental policies with this demographic shift, discuss. You will be answering this particular question in 250 words and send in your answers to us on WhatsApp to get them reviewed. Now this is it for today. I shall see you again tomorrow. Till then, take care, stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining in.